Hello ladies and gentlemen, I am SidAlpha. As many of you might have been able to guess by the footage being shown in the previous video, I did buy into the 10-hour preview of Mass Effect Andromeda, and the reason for that was specifically so I could give everyone my initial impressions of the game based on the gameplay available during that trial. And yes, this video will contain spoilers of the first few hours of gameplay, so those who don't wish to watch, you won't hurt my feelings if you give this particular video a pass. Now, full disclosure before I begin, I have been a huge fan of Bioware in the past in regards to their previous titles. I can honestly say I have played quite literally every Bioware game ever made now and have thoroughly enjoyed each and every one of them, except of course for the ending of Mass Effect 3, which I maintain was still complete and utter shit. Also, this will not be my final word on the game. This is merely to offer those interested a small indication of what they can expect if they're still on the fence in regards to purchasing the game on day one. Now, I still fully intend to produce a full review of the game once I've completed it, and my opinion might change during that time. That said, the trial of Mass Effect Andromeda was interesting. And right off the bat, I could tell that this game is going to be large. At least comparable in size to Dragon Age Inquisition, if the number of worlds and environment size are any indication. Now, the game itself offers a fair amount of what we already know. The cast and crew spend over 600 years in cryosleep to reach the Andromeda Galaxy, and of course, things go off the rails almost instantly. In a fairly predictable way, the game goes about introducing side characters and core mechanics in your typical forced tutorial fashion. Now, out of respect for those that want to play the game, I'm going to limit myself from talking about the story too much, but there are some clear warning signs about the story that I would be remiss if I didn't bring them up. The game lines up your character, either male or female Ryder, who are apparently twins by the way, to be put into a fairly emotional situation regarding their family right away, namely losing their father. And this very thing I did discuss in one of my previous videos regarding an indie game titled One Sole Purpose. Now, in that video, we were also put into a similar situation where we were expected to care about a secondary character. And what happened there mirrors the issue that we're facing in Mass Effect Andromeda. The introduction of the father character is so immensely brief that we aren't really given any reason to either grow to like or dislike the character, or really to form any opinion of them at all. Basically, all we really know is that he is somewhat emotionally distant, and he is apparently an N7, which is Earth's elite military force. But we're given no indication or any semblance of knowledge or history in regards to the character whatsoever. Likewise, we're expected to care about the sibling, who is nothing more than a stasis pod from what I've seen so far. Now, in order for players to be engaged and invested in a character and what happens to them, we have to be given a reason. We have to have the time and the history built up in order for the player to build that emotional connection. And it is that opportunity that we were very much denied here. And this underscores how rushed the early parts of the story feel. They did introduce the main villains fairly early on, which is good, but there's not enough there, in my opinion, to really give us a reason to think of them as villains. In actuality, I would have handled the initial story a fair amount differently. I would have introduced the characters before they went into cryosleep, before they began that 600-plus year trek. Show the camaraderie between the brother and sister, as well as their emotional ties to their father, or lack thereof. I would have then left the damaging of the cryopod and their father's death for later than the first hour, perhaps after exploring the first world or two, so the threat could be embedded more fully and those ties between the character and their father could be more developed. Then the character could be thrust into their position as Pathfinder, and the player is left with an even larger sense of responsibility and the enormity of the task laid out before them. This current compressed introductory story that took about an hour should have been expanded to between 4 and 6 hours, if not more. But that's, again, my personal take on things, and your mileage, of course, will vary. But we'll move on to some of the core mechanics. And, of course, we do have to talk about the facial animations. I don't think I'd be able to do a video regarding this game without at least touching base on this. But I don't think I could do it justice without a quick little montage for everyone here.
What happened?
You were clinically dead for 22 seconds.
I can't believe he's gone. 1 minute, everything was fine, and then... He What's going on, Sam?
This is our private channel. I shared it with him.
Why did he do it? Why me? You're looking at her.
You're not Alec Ryder.
My father's dead. He made me his successor.
Alec is dead. Please
This lack of framework design has been a hotbed of contention in relation to the game, and for some people, I can hardly blame their frustration. This has been a game that was 5 years in the making, and it had some exceptionally large shoes to fill. Unfortunately, it appears that the original Edmonton team that had worked on the first 3 Mass Effect games had taken the project over from the Montreal team only in its final year, and it's been reported that this game would have been a far larger mess than it is now had they not done so. Now, in addition to the complete and utter lack of expression on several faces through the game, it does have its fair share of glitches that other people have experienced. I myself have not seen any of these oddities, but I don't doubt their existence in any way. Now, it seems that in this day and age, a complete and fully realized AAA game has long been considered a thing of the past. Day one patches, DLC, and broken launches abound, and it appears that, in terms of glitches and the production being somewhat unfinished at launch, Mass Effect Andromeda will not stand out from the crowd in that regard. However, this isn't me saying that the graphics are bad or the game is unplayable. Far from it. The voice acting is, for the most part, quite good. Natalie Dormer as Dr. Lexi is particularly fantastic, but of course, it's Natalie Dormer, and her titanic acting abilities are beyond contestation at this point. The graphics are still also quite good as well. While maybe not being at the level of the new Star Wars Battlefront games, they are still able to impress. One thing that underscores this is the galaxy map transitions when traveling from planet to planet or between solar systems.
System Pythias. Andromeda Initiative Habitat 1. Designated EOS.
It was supposed to be an easy first step. Until no one else showed and we got clobbered. Twice.
Why has Sam altered frequency detection?
What are we hearing, Sam?
There is a signal, Pathfinder. I recommend an immediate examination of EOS.
Anomaly on sensors. Deploying probe. Tracking a huge mineral deposit.
In addition to that, the game's controls feel naturally intuitive if one is accustomed to previous Mass Effect games, with some slight tweaks. Your character also has thrusters built into their suit that provide some verticality to maneuvering around the world, and your ability to make use of them during combat is something that I took to right off the bat.
Let's do this! Kidding about the cat.
The power relay station is ready for activation, Pathfinder.
So, all told, from a purely first impression standpoint, I would not let the facial animations or a rushed introductory story ruin what appears to be an otherwise solid game. I have had a huge amount of fun with the game so far, and I look forward to providing a full review once I've completed it. But let me know what you think down in the comments below. Have you played the trial and enjoyed it, or did you have a very different experience and want to share your thoughts? Please feel free to do so. And while you're at it, don't forget to like and share. If you're new to the channel, please remember to subscribe. It does help more than you know. If you're feeling the urge to support the channel even further, there should be a link to my Patreon on your screen now, as well as links to that and all my social media links down in the description. Please do make use of them to keep up on any special appearances or anything else. Once again, I am SidAlpha, and thanks for watching.